Hey everyone, so this video is not really a video like I've done in the past where it's very serious and I'm saying things very authoritatively as statements. This one's more of a pondering video and just thinking about certain things without much evidence or stuff like that to support my arguments. It's more just thinking about certain things, and what we're going to be talking about, if you haven't read the title, is um, are certain things viable for many people to strive towards? And what I'm talking about are stuff like being a singer, being a rapper, or your goal is to be an actor or actress, or your goal is to maybe, for instance, be that gamer who makes a living just playing video games online. There's actually people like that. PewDiePie has 30 million subscribers. He's currently the most subscribed person on YouTube. He pretty much makes a living playing all these different video games, editing them to make them entertaining, and uploading them almost every day. And he makes a lot of money. Apparently, someone did a calculation based on how much they made on YouTube, and they said that PewDiePie was making definitely over $1 million every year. And there's other people, other gamers out there for sure, professional gamers in specific communities like League of Legends, who are definitely making pretty decent money. There's this one gamer who he was in like a mid-tier team. How it works for North America is there's about 10 teams of 5 players each, and usually around for the last 3 years since the creation of League of Legends and the esports scene, there's usually on average 5 to 7 teams that competed for the whole season, and they made pretty decent money. And there's this one player who admitted to how much he made from streaming. This was before he decided to join this team. So you can just imagine how much he was offered to join this team. And again, the team wasn't even a top team. It was like a mid-tier team. And he said that he made like something ridiculous, like $5,000 in a month from streaming on Twitch. And again, as I've mentioned before in other videos, these are burgeoning markets, new things. Technology is creating new jobs and new wealth that wasn't there, and I don't think people really grasp it. I don't think even economists grasp it. Will there be a bubble where everyone's just too exuberant about it and then the whole thing crashes? Maybe. But again, I don't think most people understand or give credit to stuff like the esports scene. And so the point, though, is what's the truth behind all this? And I'm not some expert or someone who's omniscient and knows everything. I can only just ponder and give my humble deliberations and thinking about it. And I've absorbed a decent amount from many successful people who have given their own thoughts on this. And one thing they like to say a lot is survivorship bias. It's this idea, there's this book called The Art of Thinking Clearly that talks about psychological biases and fallacies. And one thing it says is the graveyard effect, survivorship bias. We only celebrate the winners. The media celebrates and screams about the winners. But what about all the losers? What about all the people who didn't become a celebrity, who tried? Those people are left ignored and not accentuated by the media. So they're forgotten. And when people look at these stars, all they see is success. And they think it's so easy. Fortunately, and a lot of people already know this, but a lot of these industries, for at least those specific jobs, when you want to be that star in an entire production of thousands of people that create a film or create a movie, or you want to be that person who is that, I guess you can say, person who's number one on iTunes. Those people are competing against millions of people, and sometimes they themselves have to sort of acknowledge that they were very talented, they were very lucky. Maybe they said a few things right. Maybe they had a lot of connections. Maybe they hustled very hard. And so I guess a good example again from esports. I'm using that because we have enough examples in singing or rapping, stuff like Beyonce or Justin Timberlake, both part of boy bands and girl bands, and they're the only ones that really took off after it. Destiny's Child, the other members, they did decent, I guess. NSYNC, they did decent, but they didn't take off like Justin Timberlake. They're still doing well. They're still putting food on the table, of course. But there's this one professional player in the esports scene, and he admitted something in an interview. He said, for all the millions of players out there who are thinking of becoming a professional, yes, there are literally millions of players that play League of Legends on a daily basis. It's a very competitive and big market. He said, don't do it. He said, for every 5 people who try and do it, 4 of them fail. And he says it's a very sad thing. And you can kind of understand that. You can be in the top 0.0000111% of the millions of players that play this game, and you're ranked at the very top. But the competition is so stiff that you're still competing against thousands of players. They're all 1 in a million talents. But as the saying goes, 1 in a million ain't that special when there's billions of people in this world. And again, even though that might scare you, the same thing, is something that I think is very helpful for many other things in life. The fact that there are so many people in this world, it creates opportunity for customers, it creates opportunity for a lot of different things. Meeting the right person. When you have a billion possibilities, chances are your standards are not as slim as you think, and you'll probably find someone. So again, all these specific roles are, I think, very tough to get to. And I just want to conclude with a little bit of a disclaimer, though. There are people out there who they worked really, really hard. They did something exceptional to push them outside and above their competition drastically, and therefore it let them stand out and become and get to where they got to. Sure, maybe luck and a lot of other stuff played roles, but they did something exceptional. Great example is Will Smith. He said, the only differentiating factor between me and anyone else that I can decipher is my sickening, gruesome, disgusting work ethic. And he said stuff like, if you and I got on a treadmill, you're getting off first or I would die. And he said stuff like, when you're on your lunch break, I'll be working. When you take a break and go to the bathroom, I'll be working. When you go home and do whatever, spend time with your family, I'll be working in order to get ahead of you. Now that sickening work ethic is what put him ahead of the crowd. It was something that very, very much shocked me and inspired me when I heard it and watched these videos on YouTube and found out about this stuff through these interviews from him. YouTube is just filled with all these quotes and speeches and interviews from so many successful people. You can pick up so much. I've picked up so much from the thousands I've watched from all these people. And that is just ridiculous to me. It just blows my mind. I have a lot of respect for that, and I can relate to a lot in some certain things I've done in my life. And so again, despite all that, you may not be able to control anyone else or anything else, but you can control yourself. And there's so many factors at play that you can potentially use to blow yourself apart from the crowd. Whether it's something like with ridiculous work ethic like Will Smith, or something else. What I found though is it's almost best to find something you're passionate about, because it will just make that work ethic 10 times as better. Rather than if you hate it, that can be pretty much like the worst thing ever, as I've experienced. And it's I would equate it to swimming upstream against a very, very hard, fast current. It's the best example. It will go against you and make things horrible. So that can help a lot. And Will Smith, he also did something he enjoyed as well. And he said something like, again, you can find this on YouTube. He said, if you had to choose between this one job that doesn't pay as well but you love, or this job that pays a little bit better but you don't like so much, go for the one you love. And I mean, there's so many examples I could draw off of. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he says some very similar stuff, and how his gruesome work ethic to become Mr. Olympia, however many, 7 times over, a lot of it was easily translated to when he started his film industry. When everyone told him, you can't do it. Never before has someone with such a weird last name, long last name, and funny accent ever been successful. You can't do it. He made it go to be one of the best actors in Hollywood, and he accomplished that. And he said he translated that work ethic by putting in extra time in the film industry. So that's, again, just to conclude, despite the competitiveness, which is something you need. I mean, if you follow a lot of the people who became successful, they had to have some sort of belief that they can do this, and they'll do whatever they could to at least try, even if all hope failed. And that was almost a prerequisite to get over the initial hurdles to get to where they are. If they gave up, they would never would have gotten there or even tried. So it's another thing. As always, if you found this interesting, if you think you're a smart person who's willing to learn and grow and become better, which will in turn help yourself, hit the subscribe button. It'll let you know when my new video's out. If you're already subscribed, hit the like button. Thanks for watching.